Today's question is, why did God allow slavery in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, Jesus talks about forgiveness and forgiving one's enemy? Yet in the New Testament, God allows slavery. I do not understand, as this seems very hypocritical of God. Yeah, that is a very good question. And a lot of people, when they hear the word slavery, they automatically think of how it used to be here in America or in Europe. Then when they look at the Bible and see that the ancient Israelites had slavery, they first think of, well, it must have been like how it was in America, how it was in Europe, how it was in Africa. No, the Bible makes it clear that this was a different type of slavery. If we look at Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 12 through 17, I got my notes here. There's a little bit here to unpack. It says, if your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you, he shall serve you 6 years, and the 7th year you shall let him go free from you. So we already see right there that they are not going to be slaves their whole life. No, the 7th year, the Mosaic law says that they are to be set free. If we go down to verse 17, I'm sorry, 16, it says, but if he says to you, I will not go, I will not go out from you, because he loves you and your household, since he is well off with you. Then you shall take an awl and put it through his ear into the door, and he shall be your slave forever. And to your female slave you shall do the same. Isn't it interesting that a slave would love the person that they are serving? That right there, again, is showing that this is a different type of slavery. And the people who sold themselves, they usually did it voluntarily, either because they were poor or they needed to pay off a debt. And they knew someone who they could work for and work with, and they could save up money or they could pay off the debt. Um, Leviticus verse 25, chapter 25, verse 39 through 41, it says, if your brother becomes poor beside you and sells himself to you, you shall not make him serve as a slave. He shall be with you as a hired worker and sojourner. He shall serve with you until the year of Jubilee. Then he shall go out from you, and he and his children with him, and go back to his own clan and return to the possessions of his father. So what we're seeing here is when the year of Jubilee comes, which is 50 years, if they decide, you know what, I'm going to work for this guy for 50 years, then after the 50th year, that is the year of Jubilee, where they are required to set the person free. And the person already has saved up money, probably more than likely paid off the debt. So it is not, again, it is not the same type of slavery as we have been taught in schools. Not only that, but this type of servitude is still going on today in Japan, China, United States. The Philippines is very poor and not a lot of jobs in the Philippines. So a lot of them are going to Japan. A lot of people in the Philippines are going to Japan and doing jobs that many locals don't want to do. The same thing is happening in China. North Koreans are going to China and doing jobs that the locals don't want to do. Mexico, many people in Mexico travel to the United States, again, doing a lot of jobs that many of the locals don't want to do. And they are giving themselves as hired workers, just like the ancient Israelites did, to support their family, pay off a debt. Exactly what we see in the Bible. I already got ahead of my notes here. So what many atheists, what they use is Exodus chapter 21, verse 20 through 20. And it says, when a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money. Many scholars see it as a legal restriction. If the slave was rebellion and hurting a lot of people, yes, then they would strike that slave. But there were so many laws protecting the slave. If a slave's tooth fell out, the slave could go free. If the eye was damaged, the slave could go free. So it was a huge risk striking the slave, because anything could have happened that would have injured them. Many Many did not. Many did not, because they knew if they struck the person, they lost a tooth, they damaged the eye, any damage the slave anywhere, the slave could go free. Not only that, but Leviticus 21 makes it clear that I'm sorry. That's Leviticus 21. Leviticus 21 makes it clear that even injuring a slave will allow the slave to go free. So this created too many risks to hit and strike the slave. There are several examples. God commanding respect for slaves. For example, if a slave ran away from their owner and found refuge with an Israelite, that Israelite was not allowed to give up the slave, give the slave back. In fact, the law commands them to let the slave live wherever he likes within the town. So if a slave left because it was an abusive master, they could go. They could go anywhere they wanted, and they were not required to return the slave. The slave could go anywhere they wanted. So when people hear about slavery in the Bible, their first instinct is that it's abusive, it's immoral, and yes, the way the Western countries did it is very immoral. But what we have to understand is the Bible, it talks about a different kind of slavery where many rights were actually given to the people who served others. It's a different type of slavery.